Are you guys ready for some price surprises in this market right now? Well, if you guys been watching this channel, it probably shouldn't be taking you as a surprise because I've been sharing with you guys how I think about this market. And we're going to be talking about the pattern that I personally have my eyes on today, and I think a lot of the market is as well. I am talking about Bitcoin because that is the driver of this market. If Bitcoin pumps, that's very good for the altcoins, and if it dumps, that would be very bad for the altcoins. We're also going to be getting into some altcoin setups that will include Celestia, which is TIA USDT, Onyxcoin, Nero coin. See what's going on in these markets later in this video, usually after the 10-minute mark. If you guys want to skip ahead, you guys can. I highly recommend that you guys don't, because what happens in Bitcoin will affect altcoins. We're also going to be talking about some major crypto Bitcoin news and see what's going on in this market and how that could potentially affect uh, what the markets do today and in the very short term future. All right, let's go ahead and get into some news first. We have Bitcoin's bull pennant targets 165K as Bitcoin exchange flows hit 10-year lows. This is by Cointelegraph, and I'm not really sure about the pennant. I am not seeing a bull pennant on my charts, but I am seeing a cup and handle pattern that could take Bitcoin to about 145K. And of course, if we reach that price target, that's going to be very good for the altcoins again. Then I would be, if it consolidates at that point, I will chart the consolidation pattern for you guys and give an updated price target. But right now, yeah, that sounds very bullish for Bitcoin, of course, and for the rest of the crypto markets. But right now, also very important that Bitcoin does not dump. Okay, if Bitcoin dumps, I see that this is a very this is very close to potential top here for Bitcoin. Okay, even though I think a breakout to the upside is very likely and very possible, if it dumps here, that's going to be very bad for the altcoins here. Okay. And of course, what I'm saying here is purely my opinions and speculations. None of what I'm saying here in this video is financial advice. So you guys should do your own due diligence. All right, let's go to the next one. This is by Crypto Potato. Okay. Bitcoin taps 108K as Donald Trump addresses Iran Israel situation. From what I've learned about the situation, it looks like the ceasefire is still, is still happening. So that's good. Because just in terms of the markets, I don't see any. So if there's a ceasefire, there's probably not going to be any inflationary pressure on oil prices and on the Fed to delay a rate cut. Okay, so that's definitely bullish. Next one, despite Cointelegraph, Bitcoin bulls in control as Bitcoin price spikes to 108K. I do think that we are in control right now because we have actually reclaimed quite a bit of support, including a lot of the major moving averages on the daily time frame, on the 3-day time frame. So if the Bitcoin price was to drop, I am looking for support at those moving averages, which means that it's most likely going to be a bounce off those moving averages before seeing what happens. Okay. Next one, this is by the block. Bitcoin retakes 107K amid market relief over apparent Iran-Israel ceasefire. Yes, that is very bullish again. So I think this is basically the top news right now is the Iran-Israel ceasefire, which takes the pressure off the Fed for inflation, possible inflation on oil prices. Next one here is by News BTC. Crypto rally or crash. Powell just made July the market's make or break. I don't know if July is the make or break market. If just by reacting to the headline here is talking about the rate cuts in July, because in July, I don't think the odds have really been in favor of a rate cut. It's according to the CME Watch tool, the chance of an ease is still 20%. I think the main month that we're looking at is September, because now uh, September is looking like a very likely rate cut now. We're in the high 80s. I think yesterday we were in the low 80s of an ease. So September, in my opinion, it's the month to be looking at least in terms of a rate cut. So sometimes you just got to be really critical about what these headlines are saying. And of course, the headlines I've pulled here, if it interests you guys, I pulled them from TradingView. TradingView offers news, traders' ideas, and of course, most importantly, charts and indicators. In-depth charts and indicators. If you guys are new to this market and are trying to trade this market without TradingView because you want to save $20 a month, I highly don't recommend it. I've been using it for over 5+ years. It's how I learned technical analysis and charts. If you guys are interested, I do have an affiliate link in the description section below. And if you guys sign up using my link, I will get a commission, and you guys are supporting my channel. Thank you very much. Let's go on to charts. Okay. ES1 exclamation mark. Why is this important? Because it's highly correlated with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin affects the altcoins. Okay. I talked about this yesterday. S&P 500 futures. Okay. Very possible that we see all-time highs this week. And I've broken that down for you guys on yesterday's video. So if you guys want to if you guys don't want to see me, talk about this again, just look at my previous video. I think I broke it down in some pretty good reasoning that is still valid. Okay, I still think it's very possible that we break all-time highs this week, unless something crazy comes out. All right, next, let's just go to Bitcoin here. Let me talk about this real quick on the daily time frame. Okay, we're getting very close to this falling wedge pattern, top trend line, which I have it here at about 109,000. Okay, so we're very close to that top right now, and I think everyone should be paying attention to this. Regardless if you're a bull or a bear, right? Because if this thing does not pull through, we could be in for a pretty. There could be a drop. That could be coming up, right? Even though I'm saying that chances are more likely that this price action breaks to the upside because it is in a falling wedge pattern, and falling wedges usually break to the upside. You still have to acknowledge the downside risk, okay? Now, if it actually breaks the upside, I have a price target here of just right underneath 120K. But what the importance of the break here is that it also breaks out of this bigger cup and handle pattern I've been talking about, which is at about 145K. Okay. So that is basically what I'm seeing here. We're getting very close to a decision point. Okay. Let's come over here to some altcoins, because I know you guys are here for the altcoins. But I always trade altcoins with Bitcoin chart in mind first. All right, let's come over here to Nero. See what's going on in this coin. All right, let's come over here to the weekly time frame. I've done an update quite some time ago. And what we're looking at is on the weekly time frame, it broke out of this falling wedge pattern. Price target for this pattern breakout, it still broke out. It's still valid. Price target is going to be about 0.18 cents price target. Now, price targets are estimates only, of course. It could be more, it could be less. Just because you break out doesn't mean that you're going to go there 100%. I think this is a very good example of that because it broke out. It actually went down some more, but it is still above this upper trend line. So in my opinion, still very valid breakout here. Now, what's important on this weekly time frame is that it actually broke on top of the weekly 21 SMA and basically retesting it right now. What a retest means is that when you actually break above a resistance, chances are you're going to see the price action come back to the resistance level, and you want to see it bounce off of it. Okay, if it doesn't, then that's not good. All right, and how can you get more clarity on if the price action is going to bounce off a resistance level or any support level? I zoom in and chart it on a smaller time frame. In this case would be the daily time frame. There's a falling wedge pattern. I initially had another pattern here that got invalidated. Right now this is an updated falling wedge pattern, and the price target for this pattern, if it breaks out by this point, is going to be about 0.00067 price targets. Okay, so like I said, usually falling wedges break to the upside. Okay, there is possible bullish divergence scenario if this was to come back down to about 0.00033. Okay, possible double bottom bullish divergence scenario, very possible, which also usually indicates a bounce. Let's come over here to Onyxcoin, see what's going on in this market. Very important that to note, I had a falling wedge pattern that got invalidated, okay? And now we're also looking at an updated falling wedge pattern, okay? Now on this one here, what I'm looking at is a price target of about 2.5 cents price target if it breaks out by this point here, okay, which is pretty far down the upper trend line. If it breaks out earlier, then move this measure targets along the upper trend line where it breaks out, right? So this is what I'm looking at for Onyxcoin. Very simple and clean right now. This coin on the weekly time frame here also broke above the weekly 21 SMA and basically broke below it. Okay, so that resistance did not hold as support. But now let's see if Onyxcoin can get back on top of it by breaking out of this falling wedge pattern. If this actually breaks to the downside, of course, and breaks this pattern, then we're going to come back here and rechart this pattern because that's what you do, right? So if you guys want to see more of Celestia, Onyxcoin, Nero, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll bring you guys an update if enough of you guys want to see it. Let's go on to the next one. Also want to point out there was a double bottom pattern here, right? One bottom, second bottom with bullish divergence, okay? The price target out of this double bottom pattern is going to give Onyxcoin about a price target of just almost 2 cents there, 1.95 cents. Okay, that would take Onyxcoin out of this falling wedge if this price target is met. Now let's go on to Celestia TIA USDT. What's going on in this market here? Weekly time frame, you're gonna find a very similar theme. It's gonna be a falling wedge pattern, but this one has not broken out yet. If it actually does break out here, price target is gonna give about a $13 Celestia. Okay, this is on the weekly time frame, so if it breaks out, it could still take some time for it to play out, right? A lot of things could happen. Just being cautious, okay? Let's come over here to the daily time frame, and of course, all of this is going to rely on, it's going to be dependent on Bitcoin, Okay. Daily time frame, I mentioned there was a rising wedge pattern for Celestia. It broke down. Breakdown target was $1.87. Celestia continued downwards and basically exceeded its breakdown targets. Now, what is going on with this market is that I'm seeing a falling wedge pattern that is still within the pattern. Price target is about $2.50. If this gets rejected here at about $1.70, very possible double bottom, or at least a scenario with bullish divergence where you get an equal or lower low, but you're going to get an equal or higher low on the RSI. That's classic bullish divergence. I encourage you guys to look that up on ChatGPT on Google, what that means, because when you look it up yourself, it's going to stick a lot better. Okay? That will usually mean a reversal. Now, price target, if Celestia breaks out of this pattern, it's going to be about $2.50. Okay? It's got a long way to go to, get out of this pattern here, this extensive downtrend. But could it do it? It's going to rely a lot on Bitcoin, and I think Bitcoin has a pretty high chance of breaking out sometime soon. Okay, but that is just what I think. I could be wrong, and I now have been wrong. What's most important is to know what to do when you're wrong. Alright, so this basically wraps it up for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.